Speaking on the bill. Representative Grove, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate my colleague entering into discussion on this bill. I have great respect for my colleague. He's minority chairman. He is a good and decent man. Mr. Speaker, the underlying crux of this legislation is tax increases. We've already heard that this will hit our low income hardest, as their utility bills will rise because of a severance tax on them. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, there is absolutely no transfer language built in this. There is for the property tax rent rebate. There's nothing in this that actually gets money to education. It is literally a talking point that the governor has failed on because his previous attempt to try to connect severance tax with education funding has failed because nobody has introduced it. This still fails because it still does not direct money to education. It goes to the general fund, which can be spent anywhere within our budget. Anywhere. There's still no connection to severance tax for education funding built within this plan, Mr. Speaker. Do not be fooled by some smooth gimmick clause built in with that. Mr. Speaker, we talk about an income tax increase. 16% increase in the income tax. That's middle-class working families. Low-income people get hit with a severance tax. Everybody in the middle class gets hit with a 16% income tax. Mr. Speaker, this will not move our Commonwealth forward. This attacks the very people we need to help and protect. Reducing taxes on the middle class will move them forward, will allow them to keep more of their hard-earned tax dollars to spend how they appropriately feel they need to. I'm very saddened at this latest tax proposal because it will hurt low-class Pennsylvanians. It will eviscerate the middle class and continue to build class warfare. Yes, keep the impoverished right where they are and annihilate the middle class. So the poor and rich are always at odds. That's a result of economic warfare when you continue to tax the middle class out of existence. It happens. We see it all across Pennsylvania where local tax bureaus, local municipalities out-tax the middle class. They flee. What's left are the impoverished and the very rich who can afford to live there. As I stated earlier, this amendment increases financial burdens on those who can least afford it. Property tax relief may never develop due to the unending spending appetite of our governor. If this passes, you will see another tax increase in the future to fund the property tax rent rebate expansion. Every last dollar of this tax will be spent by 2016. Mr. Speaker, I'm more upset that the fact that the governor abandoned our bipartisan property tax bill that's sitting over in the Senate, House Bill 504. It passed with 105 votes, would not only just target seniors, would target every property taxpayer across this Commonwealth. We reduce the tax burdens on businesses and individuals, homeowners alike, and provide significant relief at the same time dealing with the rising cost of property taxes over the long term, Mr. Speaker. This amendment fails short on what we need to actually do to get a budget done. Let's roll up our sleeves, find ways, smart ways to balance our budget without putting the burden on middle class and low income Pennsylvanians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.